The rule, the cream of the gospel and the keys of heaven. My dear brothers and sisters, every family needs a foundation, every journey a compass, every mission a guide. For us, the missionaries of St. Francis says, that guide is the rule, our constitutions, our common way of life. For Father Mermier, the rule was never just a book of regulations, it was the cream of the gospel, the key of paradise, the fortress of the missionary, and the pathway to holiness. He believed that without the rule, there could be no order, no sanctification, and no fruitful apostolic work. Today, let us explore what Father Mermier teaches us about the rule, how he lived it personally, how he emphasized both its letter and its spirit, and how he saw it as the strength and unity of our congregation. The first point for our reflection today is the rule begins with personal fidelity. Before he ever gave a rule to his missionaries, Father Mermier lived one himself. As curate at Maglan in 1813, he drew up his own rule of life. He wrote, "As much as it depends on me, I will have a room without decoration. The crucifix I will have will not be gilt but of simple wood. I will observe this same rule of simplicity and poverty with regard to furniture, candlestick, writing desk, etc." Here we see his conviction. The rule is not theory, it is a daily practice of simplicity, poverty, and order. If we want to inspire others to live by the rule, we must first embrace it ourselves. The second point for our reflection today, more than regulations, the spirit of the rule. Father Mermier was very clear that the rule is not mere external obedience. It has a spirit, and this spirit must animate everything we do. To Father Petit-Jean, he wrote, "What counts more than exact obedience to the rule is the spirit of the rule. Self-renunciation, foregoing one's comforts, making oneself all things to all men, even in the slightest things. Charity and gentleness towards our neighbor are the offspring of our love for God." This is the heart of the rule. Not legalism but love. Not rigidity but self-giving. The rule is about dying to self so that Christ may live in us. The third point for our reflection today is the cream of the gospel, the key of paradise. Mermier spoke of the rule in the loftiest terms. The rule is for us the cream of the gospel, the key of paradise. Let us make an attempt and we shall understand. For him, the rule distilled the gospel into daily practices. It was not an obstacle to holiness, but the very means of attaining it. To live the rule faithfully is to live the gospel concretely. The fourth point for our reflection today, fortress, citadel, and arsenal. Missionaries face countless temptations and distractions. For this reason, Mermier called the rules our fortress, our citadel, and our arsenal. He wrote, "It is through our rules that we are religious. Far from impeding your other occupations, your rules will help you fulfill them with greater zeal and merit. Far from being a burden, the rule is our protection. It keeps us focused, guards us from worldliness, and equips us for the battles of the apostolate." The fifth point for our reflection today, letter and spirit, balance and fidelity. Mermier balanced two truths. The rule must be observed in letter and spirit. To Father Tissot he wrote, "I demand in virtue of the holy obedience we have vowed that all members of the congregation make it a point to observe with all their heart the letter as well as the spirit of our holy rules. Without the letter, discipline is lost. Without the spirit, love grows cold. Together, they ensure fidelity, depth, and fruitfulness. The sixth point for our reflection today, the rule and the mission. Some might think the rule interferes with mission, but Mermier insisted the opposite. The rule fuels mission. To be faithful to the rule, even during the mission, is a great source of comfort. But it is above all the spirit of the rule. Renunciation of self, sacrifice of one's comforts, to be all things to all, everywhere and always. In other words, it is precisely by fidelity to the rule that we become effective missionaries. The rule keeps us rooted in Christ, detached from self, and available to everyone. The seventh point for our reflection today, the rule and the unity of the congregation. The rule also serves us our bond of unity. Without it, each missionary would go his own way. With it, we are united in one spirit and one mission. Mermier wrote in his circular to India in 1855, God Himself will give us these men if our congregation and its ordinances are our rule of life, our center of attraction, our bonds of unity. By observing them faithfully, entirely, constantly, and with great love, we shall possess the strength of God Himself. Thus, the rule is not just personal, it is communal. It is what makes us one body. The eighth point for our reflection today, the rule as God's will. Father Mermier tirelessly sought approval of the rule from the Holy See, convinced it was the expression of God's will for his missionaries. When it was approved in 1842, he told his confreres, since our rules are so wise, so pure, so perfect, let us endeavor to observe them with an ever greater zeal, fervor, and fidelity. To follow the rule, then, is not merely to follow Mermier's wishes, but to follow God's design for our congregation. The ninth point for reflection today, the rule as path to holiness. Above all, the rule is about holiness. Mermier called it the book of the elect, the key to heaven. He urged his confreres, let us carry our rules in our hands, in our hearts, and on our tongues. By observing them faithfully, entirely, constantly, and with great love, we shall possess the strength of God Himself. Holiness is not achieved by extraordinary visions or feelings, but by fidelity to daily practices, lived with love. The rule is our school of sanctity. To conclude, carry the rule in your heart. Dear friends, what does Father Mermier teach us about the rule? He teaches us that it is not a burden but a blessing, not a cage but a compass. It is the cream of the gospel, the key of paradise, our fortress, our citadel, and path to holiness and mission. He urges us to live both its letter and its spirit, to carry it not just in our hands but in our hearts, to let it unite us as one family and propel us into the world as faithful missionaries. Let us make His words our own today. Let us take up our resolutions and set to work. Let us carry our rules in our hands, in our hearts, on our tongue. By observing them faithfully, entirely, constantly, and with great love, we shall possess the strength of God Himself. Live Jesus.